Yo, United USA.
Biggest airlines in the United States have warned of potential chaos tomorrow ahead of the planned switch on of the latest 5G wireless technology in the U.S. They've sent an urgent letter to government officials to take action and have highlighted their concerns about the impact on safety and services. Ashley Burke is on the story. She's in our Washington bureau. We're going to definitely have to watch this tomorrow. But ahead of that, tell us more about the airline's concerns, Ashley, and I'm wondering whether there will be similar concerns here in Canada.
Heather, airlines are warning of catastrophic disruption and a completely avoidable economic calamity. The CEOs of Delta, United, American Airlines, and 7 other carriers say that thousands of planes may need to be delayed, diverted, or grounded indefinitely, and that could impact an estimated 100,000 passengers or so a day. Now, the letter, first reported by Reuters, urges that the government ban 5G within 2 miles of airports and wrote, quote, immediate intervention is needed to avoid significant operational disruption to air passengers, shippers, supply chain, and delivery needed medical supplies, including vaccine distribution. These airlines' concern is that Verizon and AT&T's 5G technology could interfere with its navigation tools on planes, specifically an instrument that pilots use to tell them how close they are to the ground when there's poor visibility. So something that's important during bad weather. And for months, airlines, U.S. regulators, cell phone carriers have been sparring over this issue. Meanwhile, in Canada, Canadian authorities stunned telecom giants in the fall with a surprise announcement that it was banning 5G near airports. Canada put in place restrictions, including exclusion zones, until more research is done.
What are the telecom companies and government officials saying about this threat, Ashley?
Well, the wireless industry accuses the aviation sector of fear-mongering and deliberately distorting the facts. They say that 5G has rolled out in dozens of other countries without aviation interference issues, and that the Federal Aviation Administration, because of that, ended up getting involved to settle this. And earlier this month, they struck a deal with the telecom companies. Verizon and AT&T did agree to reduce its signal strength, especially on cell phone towers near airports, but they called it an exceptional measure and that they were doing it in the spirit of cooperation for 6 months. These two companies have spent more than $80 billion buying bandwidth for 5G. They say that they've already moved the deadline to implement it once, and they are not going to let that happen again, and that this will be going forward tomorrow.
Frequency and landing technology of radio communications that help pilots to know how close they are to the ground when they're coming in for a landing. They have major concerns about this. Now, the FAA, Federal Aviation Administration, has said that there's no concern, and 5G's rolled out in many countries, and there hasn't been any issues. So there's nothing to worry about, nothing to see here, folks. Don't worry about it. I am thinking one of two things. I'm thinking, okay, they're addressing concerns, and they're valid, right? They are valid. But what I'm also thinking is they might be doing this as kind of a mind F us. In other words, to debunk something with by creating a story, creating a concern, and then saying, oh no, it turned out that there was no concern. Everything's great. Everything's good. Nothing to see here, folks. Nothing to worry about. We checked it out. It's good, right? So it makes it look like the airlines are concerned. Now, I'm not saying that's the issue. I'm not saying that's what they're doing. I'm just saying that they could be putting this out there as kind of like a preemptive, kind of debunk to be like, oh, yeah, we have concerns about it. And then, government FAA comes back, or after an investigation or whatever comes back time later, however many weeks or months, they can say, oh no, we didn't investigate, everything's good, and then say everything is good. Right? Time goes by, months, years, everything's good, right? Hypothetically speaking. But then they win either way in that situation because they can say, look, see, we told you so, right? 5G is completely safe. Look. Now, I don't care if, say something does come down to a situation where they do realize that it is safe for aviation technology and frequency, great. But just because if that was to happen, see what I'm saying? I'm not saying hypothetical. I'm saying realistically, it is still a concern I think many people have a concern over the health issues of this technology and millimeter wavelength radiation. Microwave technology, millimeter wavelength, that has to be placed much more towers closer to each other because it doesn't go through solid objects, and it usually goes in straight lines, right? I've done, gosh, I don't know how many videos have I done about this. I've shown videos explaining the technology, explaining where the technology came from, launching from Raytheon, from the ADS, the active denial system that was used for crowd control technology. Anyway, prime example. So right now they're talking about, there's going to be this rollout tomorrow. The cell phone companies, Verizon and AT&T, have they're challenging. They're obviously stirring up, kicking up dust, because they have spent a total in the last few years of $80 billion. That's billion with a B. $80 billion in the rollout of 5G, and so. They don't want anyone standing in their way, whether it's the airlines and safety precautions of the public. They don't care. They're like, it's going forward and it's going to go forward. And I showed a video where the FAA chairman back in 2017 said, this is going forward, whether you people like it or not. Don't stand in the way. I'm paraphrasing, but yeah. So anyway, check out this video.
To make this work, the 5G build-out is going to be very infrastructure intensive, requiring massive deployment of small cells. I'm confident that the actions will lead to a cornucopia of unanticipated, innovative uses, and will generate tens of billions of dollars in economic activity. And that's damn important, because it means that U.S. companies will be the first.
Definitely sounds like a hard sales pitch to me. Check it out. So some people are going to like this technology because they're like, oh yeah, I'm getting faster download speeds. Oh, this is great. But I think the majority of common sense folk are going to be very concerned, because they're going to say, I don't want this so close to my personal residence, regardless of how fast I can upload stuff. Like right now, I'm good with 4G.
Many of the high-frequency bands that we will make available for 5G currently have some satellite users, as well as some Defense Department applications, or at least the possibility of future satellite and defense users. This means sharing will be required between satellite and terrestrial wireless, an issue that is especially relevant in the 28 gigahertz band. But if anyone tells you that they know the details of what 5G is going to become, run the other way. If something can be connected, it will be connected. Hundreds of billions of microchips connected in products from pill bottles to plant waterers. We must reject the notion that the 5G future will be the sole provenance of urban areas.
What he's saying right there is the 5G is going to be everywhere, and even across the street, in front of your house, on a light pole.
All corners.
Friends, I'm not sharing this for myself. I'm sharing it for you. I do this for you. I'm sharing it for you, ladies and gents.